To truly understand why Project Universe exists, we must start at the beginning. I'll keep it short as I can. My name is Michael Boyson. I was born 29 January 1988 in Tampa, Florida, via my mother Destiny and father David. My love for video games began in 1992 when I first played the Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt combo cartridge on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Around this time, my parents divorced due to David abusing us. My older brother Matthew and I went with my mom. She got with my stepfather Kevin. We moved to Washington State. Then my younger brother Paul was born in 1993. Kevin is my true dad. David is nothing more than a sperm donor. My love for game development and modifying them began in 1994 when I began playing and modding games on my dad's Amiga 4000 with games such as Ascendancy, Elite Frontier 2, Battletech Crescent Hawk's Inception, and Master of Magic. When I wasn't playing outside with my brothers and friends, I was more than likely playing video games. I played everything we could get our hands on. As a result, we experienced the evolution of video games firsthand. My love for supporting and teaching others began due to being a middle child. I was always player 2 when gaming with Matt. Then when Paul started gaming, I mentored him, which was incredibly fun. My love for learning about humanity took off in 2006 when I began teaching people how to modify games for fun, starting with Warcraft 3: The Frozen Throne. Since then, I've played, modded, and taught modding for many games. As the internet evolved, this led to interacting with people across the globe, which taught me what life was like in their countries. In 2014, I began modding the game Space Engineers by Keen Software House. At first, modding was done directly in the game's folders, then a few months later, modding was handled through Steam Workshop, making it significantly easier. This led to the modding community growing rapidly, at which point I started teaching nearly all day, every day, for fun, as countless people were asking for help. This is when my community began to grow. It started on Skype, then we switched to Discord when it released mid-2015. Everything was going well until May 2016 when my biological father came to Washington for 2 weeks as his girlfriend was attending a nurses convention in Seattle. He asked Matt and I to hang out, which I reluctantly agreed to. I hadn't seen him for 20-ish years. I dislike him as he's a manipulative, narcissistic asshole. I figured this may be my last opportunity to see him, so I went with it. We drove around talking and checking out cool places. Then one day, while driving around Seattle, I had severe stomach pain. When I went to the bathroom to poop, there was a ton of blood, which terrified me. This marked the beginning of Crohn's disease, rendering me bedridden and constant internal bleeding. I tried to see the doctor as soon as possible, but I had to wait until October to have a colonoscopy. Late July, my cousin David in Florida lost partial vision in one eye due to a brain tumor. My mom and I flew down in the beginning of August to help his mom, Stephanie, my mom's middle sister, take care of him. I figured I had to wait till October anyways, so the least I could do is help my mom until then. His brain surgery went relatively well. Mid-October, I flew back up to Washington, had the colonoscopy late October, got the results back in November telling me I have ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. Essentially, my immune system attacks anywhere along my gastrointestinal tract, causing severe internal bleeding and pain. After several doctors gave me conflicting information on how to treat it, I was feeling hopeless and extremely depressed. January 2017, I applied for disability. After fighting for it most of the year, it ended with the judge denying me disability despite being on death's doorstep. Part of their closing statement was, "Without taking into consideration your sit-stand issues, you can work all these jobs." I was told I couldn't reapply until my symptoms worsened. My GI doctor tried to get me the medication I needed, but Medicaid was refusing to pay for the proper dose, so we tried cheaper alternatives. I started sulfasalazine early 2017, which seemed to be helping, but it was hard to tell, as I was on a lot of medications. Apparently, I'm ever so slightly allergic to it. I only found out when I had to have life-saving surgery in December 2017 due to an abscess, which was infected with E. coli and salmonella, one of which got into my blood. That day at the ER was the scariest moment of my life, as my body gradually became completely numb due to sepsis, while I waited for the doctors to come in the next morning to perform the surgery. When I woke from surgery, I was miserable, in pain, nauseous, depressed, scared, etc. Initially, I believed my life was over. I couldn't finish college and had no idea how I had survived without help. I spent the next week in the recovery room creating a plan facilitating my ability to live a life I could be proud of. Then on 24 December 2017, on Christmas Eve, I returned home and began working on Project Universe. After this, I began the healing process as we finally got the medication and proper dosages I need. I'm still bedridden, don't hurt nearly as much, and no longer bleed internally. Fortunately, my hobby provided a community, knowledge, and resources, so I wasn't starting from scratch. Additionally, I have been designing my dream sci-fi game since 2007, which provided a solid foundation to build off of. Project Universe has to be free because it has to be accessible to people in situations like me. I spent the next year researching and developing methods of funding it without charging for the game, which led to the virtual affiliate mall, crowdfunding, merch, etc. Early January 2018, I received an invite to Emerald City Comic Con to be a guest speaker along with a few other modders from Space Engineers. On 29 January 2018, I received official confirmation we're going, which I interpreted as an awesome birthday present. We decided to talk about the benefits of video game modding on individuals, communities, and developers. We received guest speaker passes. Merrick Rosa from King Software House sponsored us, and despite my poor health, I went all 4 days. Despite the pain, suffering, health risks, I'm glad I went. It boosted my morale and gave me the confirmation I needed to fully invest my time and energy into Project Universe. The panel room was full beyond fire safety capacity to the point people were denied re-entry if they stepped out by ECCC staff. With people of all types in the audience, it showed me I was making the right choice. You can watch the hour-long panel on my YouTube channel. Being a modder, knowing the joy it brings me, how it's helped me and helped all those I've met, I designed the game around supporting the community. What started as a plan for powerful tools and tutorials for modders evolved into the integrated school that's part of the plan today. On 29 January 2019, I invited all of humanity to aid in development regardless of experience via a GoFundMe campaign. Since then, many have come and gone, all of which have helped improve the plan in some way. In October, we received a $30,000 donation, which paid for registering Shaustel Social Purpose Corporation as our official business, for the setup I use today, allowing me to use my computer in bed, hardware and software for volunteers, and compensated a couple of the most dedicated volunteer contributors. In 2020, things slowed to a crawl as the quarantine forced many volunteers to stop contributing as they used public computers. Fortunately, we were just barely able to complete a very early tech demo as part of our Unity for Humanity submission. 2021-wise, things are looking better as early gameplay will be available later this year. How fast it develops depends entirely on you. Volunteer Unity developers, public advocacy, community support, crowdfunding, investors, etc. Hopefully you understand what Project Universe means to me, how it helps me live my best life by helping you live your best life. Dedicating my life to the betterment of humanity has been the best choice I've ever made. I hope I inspire you to do the same. Before us is a massive cake. Too big for any one of us to eat, but this cake doesn't increase in size. So by getting more people involved, this cake is easily eaten by our shared efforts. How big of a piece you want is up to you. I ask that you at least take a bite. For more information about Project Universe, to join the community, or find me on social media, head over to shaustel.com.